A great warm welcome once again. You're welcome on Smart 24 Television, the business edition. We're going to have a recap of the stories that made the headlines. If at all you missed any of our bulletin, just get comfortable in your sitting room. I'm going to have this all for you. Mark, the story is going to look at is the government embarking on a nationwide campaign to revamp agriculture, and CBR, of course, the Bank of Uganda reducing CBR to 9.5%, up from 10%. Stay around. I'll be right back. A great welcome once again on Smart 24 Television. The business edition starts now. I'm going to start with the Bank of Uganda reducing its central bank rate from 10% to 9.5%. Of course, this is in line to reduce even the interest rates from other commercial banks. Let's have a look at this very story.
Although annual headline inflation dropped below the 5% mark at 3.9% in July, following effective monetary tightening, and the central bank rate currently revised to 9.5% from 10% prior, Bank of Uganda has confirmed a drop in economic growth, as earlier on demonstrated by Uganda Bureau of Statistics at negative 6.5% for consecutive quarters, attributed to measures taken to tackle inflation last year and current multi-sector challenges that have inspired limited private sector credit.
We've been pursuing a tight monetary policy, and so has government been undertaking fiscal consolidation. Now, we know that the transmission mechanism of monetary policy in our case is anywhere between 12 to 18 months. So some of the actions we took last year are now beginning to play out. So that is affecting the aggregate demand in the economy. If you look at the private sector credits, private sector credit growth by end of June was only 6.5% compared to where it used to be of somewhere near 10%. So we think that the impact of this has been to tighten the credit conditions, notwithstanding also the fact that most of the financial institutions have become sort of like risk averse, given the fact that the quality of the assets has been affected by the COVID-19. They have had to make some provisions against that. And then also,
according to Adam Mugume, the Executive Director Research at Bank of Uganda, the slash in cash reserve ratio for commercial banks by 50 basis points to 9.5% further boosts the financial sector as banks look at improved liquidity to support private sector lending, where trade, manufacturing, construction and agriculture, for instance, pursue a progressive curve.
Reducing the CRR alone by 50 basis points would mean that you're injecting, looking at the deposit available, the deposit in the commercial banks, we are talking about an injection of around 160 billion Uganda shillings, just on back of envelopes calculation. So that liquidity, in combination with reducing CRR, which also means that banks now have more liquidity, we believe that that will have some impact on liquidity available to the banks for on lending. It may not be immediate in terms of lowering lending interest rate, etc., but at least it should be able to ease the liquidity available to the banks, which then can be available for on lending. So we believe that that is the right direction, given that the demand is softening.
As the country sustains World Bank's definancing for new projects, fear of impact on the shilling and gross economic progress still looms. As per the central bank, joint monitoring of the situation with the finance ministry is on course to ascertain impact that goes as far as on the foreign exchange market.
Until we get a firm information from the Minister of Finance regarding the exact amount of the resources that are affected, it would not be proper for me to speculate on what the impact is going to be. And also we want to know how is the Minister of Finance going to respond to whatever cuts have been made. My understanding is that most of these cuts relate to projects that are yet to be approved by the World Bank. So it therefore means that maybe they have not yet been budgeted all right, for if the end that are budgeted.
Ultimately, the central bank envisions up to 6% economic growth in the current fiscal year as the private sector gets back on feet, coupled with oil and gas inflows plus export growth. Ivan Tibenkana, Smart 24 TV.
Yeah, that's a great one coming from the Bank of Uganda, of course, reducing its central bank rate from 10% to 9.5%. That means all commercial banks around Uganda are also going to look at reducing its, of course, interest rates. And this is going to help all people who are doing business here in the country. Now, let's get to engineering into the African Continent Free Trade Area. The Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, has also come up to engineering into this gap. Of course, you know, we're going to have the African Continent Free Trade Area, an area that Uganda itself has not tapped into, of course, to get the market in that very area. Now, Tayebwa's visionary approach seeks to harness engineering opportunities to drive rapid implementation of African trade, as well as emphasizing accountability, innovation, and top-notch standards. Of course, we should have all the standards that will remember what is going on between Kenya and Uganda, of course, of poor standards, of course. So let's have a look at this very story.
Uganda is capitalizing on 62% of the African Continental Free Trade Area, focusing on delivering goods and services, yet the challenge lies in accessing these opportunities effectively. Stephen Asimwe, recognizing the engineering sector as an integral one, highlights the urgency of expediting the local content bill, as this move could create more financial support and reduce interest rates for local businesses.
To fast-track the local content bill, through you, Right Honourable Speaker, we, on behalf of the engineering fraternity, we join hands with them to work and ensure that we shall facilitate that discussion through your August House to ensure that we actually have affirmative action for Ugandan businesses, especially the engineers.
As Africans, we look at ourselves as competitors, and we end up losing out. So I'm really glad that you're looking at how best to tap into the opportunities created by the AFCTL, but also very important for you to play your role, because if it is to succeed, it can only succeed and benefit African continent if innovation is at the center and the engineering aspect is very, very important for that. I was in Germany around 4 months ago, and I was amazed when I was meeting their head of small-scale industries to find that 58% of German exports are coming from small-scale, medium and small-scale industries.
Regarding the crucial matter of the local content bill, the Deputy Speaker has disclosed that the President has returned it for the second review of clauses, and he intends to personally instruct the committee to expedite the process, aiming to ensure a swift passage of the bill.
The President returned the local content bill, and I've already instructed the committee to process it. Next week, we shall process that bill for the third time, and because the President has returned 2 times, when we process it next week, it will automatically become law. So, next week we are going to have the local content bill, and in that bill, we hope we are creating opportunities for you to utilize your profession and make money out of it. And this will help us so much as a government.
The President of Uganda Institute of Professional Engineers emphasizes the importance of addressing 2 key bills as they pursue engineering opportunities. Firstly, the engineering bill must be enacted to eradicate unqualified practitioners. Secondly, the local content bill holds significant weight, aiming to enforce affirmative action for goods and services.
Is the Engineering Professionals Bill 2022, which is now waiting certificate of financial implication before it goes to Parliament. This bill is very significant in the sense that it will improve regulation of the profession. When you do not have a regulated profession, then you facilitate emergence of quacks. And when they are quacks, then you are likely to have substandard works. You are going to have substandard products in the market. So we are very, very passionate about this bill because it is going to enhance regulation. It's going to create more order in the practice of engineering.
Amidst these efforts, Honorable Katumba Wamala, the Minister of Works and Transport, underscores that local companies often lose out on contracts due to inadequate structures and inefficient administration. Nevertheless, he reinforces the commitment to passing the bill into law, indicating a positive direction for the initiative.
It's a question of being organized, because as you have seen, we are not short of expertise. You saw what is in the room. Any engineering area you talk about, they are there and in numbers. But what is lacking? What is lacking is them getting organized properly. Because as individuals, it may be difficult. Secondly, you will find that also some of our companies, local companies, when you ask Katumba, you have a local company, where is your company structure? It's one person. Katumba, you finance, Kugamba. While the demand, what is demanded when you are submitting your bid, you must show the company structure. Who are in that company? And can we check on them to see whether this, for example, are your engineers registered? All this contributes to the local contractors missing out on viable.
Yeah, that's a great one coming from the African Continent Free Trade Area. Of course, Uganda has not tapped into that market, but we are trying. We are going forward. Of course, we've been having problems with the East African community. Some other stakeholders have been saying that we're still having problems with the East African community. Why should we tap into the African Continent Free Trade Area? But of course, some other stakeholders are saying, no, much as we are handling issues within the East African community, it can't stop us from also tapping into the market from the African Continent Free Trade Area. So that was a very good story. Let's get to another story here. Of course, we've been having a lot of panic following World Bank's stopping its funding coming to Uganda, of course. So while coming back from legislators from 2 weeks recess, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Taylor, of course, advised the members of Parliament to stay calm as we wait for the negotiation between the government of Uganda and the World Bank. Let us have a look at this very story.
The World Bank saga is still creating panic amongst Ugandans, including lawmakers. But the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Thomas Tayewa, has advised his MPs to stop panicking because it is a sign of weakness. Yet the country is not weak.
Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Finance last week communicated the position of the World Bank regarding funding of certain aspects of our budget. And he urged the agency for this Parliament to review our budget in line of the actions which have already taken place by the World Bank. Given that background, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, relating to your guidance on committees to consider having meetings when we are not sitting here, would it be procedurally right for you, in light of the challenges that we are having as a country relating to our budget funding, for the Ministry of Finance to meet the Committee of Finance, Budget and National Economy tomorrow so that we address those issues?
Panicking as if the country is going to shut down. We made a decision here. When we were making that decision, we knew it would have repercussions. Okay? And we are prepared and we are strong about the decision we made as a house. The moment we show any signs of weakness and panic, it means we don't know what we are doing, we don't know what was coming. We knew threats would come, people would try to do what. So please, let us be calm. At any time, when the Minister for Finance or the Executive, and I saw the communication of the President, he said they are engaging with the World Bank on this matter. So at any time when the Minister for Finance or the Executive feels they want to do anything with regard to reviewing the budget, they will come back here and they inform us. So I would urge the committees of finance, budget, these meetings, Minister for Finance, come and explain World Bank has withdrawn funding, so you must come, you explain, you do what you're pressing the panic button for nothing. So,
in the same regard, the Prime Minister Robin Anambanja has called on Ugandans to stay firm as government is still in talks with the World Bank officials. She says if the negotiations fail, Cabinet will look for alternative funding to foster economic development of the country.
The news, we are going to use a number of approaches. One, we shall continue to negotiate with World Bank officials. And two, we shall also look for a way of being frugal in whatever we do as a country. As Prime Minister, I've been tasked by the President to look for all possible ways where we can save money so that we can cover up for that funding that World Bank is withdrawing. But in the meantime, we are still hopeful that we shall negotiate with them.
According to Tayewa, if government needs to revise the budget, it is very okay, but called for calmness amongst lawmakers who are suggesting that finance devise means of addressing the situation. Sam Lanifa, Smart 24 TV.
Yeah, that's a great one coming from there, from the Parliament of Uganda, of course, following the panic that legislators have been going through. Remember, Uganda signed it as a law against LGBTQ. Of course, there's no any signs of going for lesbianism or homosexuality. So in Uganda here, if you go for that, that is against the law. And that's why the Bank of Uganda is cutting its funding coming to Uganda. And now the Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayewa, was also coming down, was telling legislators to calm down. Of course, government of Uganda is going into negotiation with the World Bank, and we shall see what will come out. But the issue of lesbianism and homosexuality is not called for in Uganda here. Let's get to another story. Let's rush to Katuna border. The World Food Programme, whose works largely involve achieving global food security and zero hunger, recorded losses after Rwanda-bound cargo truck from Uganda carrying maize caught fire near Katuna border. That's a very big loss there, because when the car was carrying a lot of maize and then caught up with fire, of course, that's a very big loss. Let's have a look at that story.
A relentless fire has shattered World Food Programme's works in the region as cargo truck UAS 134R carrying maize and heading to Rwanda was set ablaze near Katuna border. The trailer is reported to have surprisingly caught fire, burning fruit and end parts. According to eyewitnesses, it had been parked for 3 days awaiting repair. The police fire brigade could barely contain damage due to the delay, as trucks are still in bad shape and grounded.
We were there and suddenly we saw the truck on fire. By the time the driver came, it was ablaze. We tried using the fire extinguishers, but all failed. So we were waiting for the cavalry fire brigade.
The incident, which is reported to have lasted over an hour before police intervention, forced the driver to vanish, abandoning the engulfed truck and a portion of its previous cargo, with damage estimated at about 20 million shillings. Traffic and flow of activity were all affected due course as residents expressed dissatisfaction over untimely intervention.
Hours have passed and the police are not yet here. My question is, where is the police? I only see ordinary people helping out. We are really disappointed. Imagine waiting for more than 2 hours for help. We are not happy about this.
According to Parliament, effective measures to streamline secure travel and flow of cargo by heavy transit vehicles needs to be implemented, as similar calls were made earlier to gazette such trucks that traverse long distance, with the country being at the center of logistics flow in East Africa.
It's high time we start to come up with a policy of gazetting particular areas where these trucks should remain parked especially when drivers are doing refreshments or when they are doing clearances at the border stations. But otherwise, piling these trucks along the borders, along the main roads, the highways, it's a little bit of a problem.
Katuna residents have gone a step further to express their heightened concern for government to allocate dedicated firefighting trucks at the border. The urgent call stems from the presence of numerous parked trucks in the area, noted as a potential risk that could lead to dire and similar consequences.
The government should devise means of getting us a fire brigade around here because the place is congested. The buildings are close to each other and so the cars. We need government to look into the matters.
Secure traffic and logistics flow by transitional cargo handlers remain one of the country's pressing issues owing to the link Uganda offers to several East African states. Recently, border districts residents in Busia and neighboring areas appealed for streaming cargo truck traffic to resolve accidents and similar challenges. Nobad Jamahachi, Masi Katsime for Smart 24 TV.
So that's the car that caught fire at Katuna border there. Or the estimated amount of money that is estimated to have lost is 20 million Uganda shillings. Of course, that's a lot of money. Let's pray this guy get to be helped and see what is going to happen over there. Let's get to revamping agriculture in the country as the government of Uganda is set to embark on a nationwide campaign to revamp agriculture to unlock the sector's potential. Of course, that's the backbone of the country. And they're saying that according to statistics, over 70% of the Uganda's population is employed under agriculture. And that's why the government is embarking on revamping it right on from the grassroots up to the high end. Let's have a look at this very story. 80% of the Uganda's land is arable, but only 35% is being cultivated. In financial year 2021-2022, agriculture accounted for about 24% of the GDP and 33% of export earnings. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics estimates that about 70% of the Uganda's working population is employed in agriculture. It's therefore against this background that the government is set to embark on a nationwide campaign to revamp agriculture sector to a greater height. The president reportedly wrote a letter to the office of the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja outlining 6 policy directives that, among others, called for increased productivity and value addition.
This week, we are launching a nationwide farmers mobilization campaign to rejuvenate agricultural production, productivity, and
as the Right Honourable Prime Minister has put it, we are targeting a number of people that are involved in agricultural production along the entire chain, starting from the farmers, going to the input dealers, going to the aggregators, or call them the off-takers.
Uganda's agricultural sector presents multiple highly profitable investment opportunities both for profit-oriented investments and partnerships. As one of the 55 member states of the African Union, Uganda has steadily picked the pace in agricultural development and was highlighted as one of the 20 leading countries in delivery on development targets of the Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program. Therefore, a long-term strategy for value addition is called for, and it's part of what will be tackled in the nationwide campaign, and that's according to the State Minister for Agriculture, Fred Wino Chakulaga.
Whatever is not consumed fresh, should be processed into the final product rather than selling it as a raw material.
we are there. We are going there to tell our farmers and so that they can do better. That's why this campaign is very relevant.
Transforming a country's agricultural sector can create jobs, raise income, reduce malnutrition, and kickstart the economy as a path to the middle income status. In fact, almost every industrialized nation began its economic move with an agricultural transformation. Yeah, that's a great one there. Of course, talking about agriculture, they saw the Premier, Uganda's Premier, Robina Nabanji, saying that is going to involve all offices, including the Ministry for Agriculture, of Trade. All of them are going to, of course, come up with a joint effort and make this campaign a successful one. Of course, they're going to talk about a couple of things like post-harvesting and very many things over there, plus the value addition. Of course, that's what the President of Uganda has been emphasizing for the last very many years. Now, that being said, we'll be going in for that short commercial break, and when I come back, the business edition is still continuing. Stay around.
Smart 24, driving business.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices and gets a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Hello, with everybody for you. I did just shake belly, but it's not one tell.
Say goodbye to paperwork and travel costs. Now every Smart 24, driving business. Say goodbye to paperwork and travel costs. Now every MTN customer can register to invest in securities anytime and anywhere with Zabu in a few simple steps. Step 1. Dial *292 hash. Step 2. Select option 1. Register with Zabu. Step 3. Enter your full names. Step 4. Enter your national identification number. Step 5. Enter your national identification card number. In 24 hours, you will receive an SMS confirming your registration. Congratulations, you are now ready to invest.
A great welcome from that short break. Of course, the business edition is still continuing. This time around, we're going to talk about support for tourism in Uganda. You know how tourism is contributing to Uganda's GDP to a bigger height. And remember, ever since COVID-19, of course, the tourism sector has, of course, recorded a lot of growth. And of course, even the numbers within domestic and international tourists are also increasing. Let's have a look at this very story.
PSFU's call last year for proposals from eligible private tourism enterprises to enhance the tourism sector with a $100,000 grant didn't materialize, resulting in losses for businesses that had already secured loans and contracts. Stephen Asimwe of PSFU admits being overwhelmed by the excess applications beyond available funding, but assures a revamped approach with a thorough consultation of equitable distribution of the upcoming funds.
It's supposed to cover marketing, for marketing purposes, digital marketing, expo participation. Generally, it was supposed to be to help the tourism business improve, yeah? Now, what happens is that members applied for this fund, but some of them didn't get responses. Perhaps the challenge was the time lag between which the members applied and didn't get the response, but also maybe the criteria for which they were supposed to apply for this fund. So what you might have understand and what you might have got from inside there is that there are people that were called to sign contracts for this fund, but then they never got to sign the contracts. So that part we do not understand why, but then we know for sure that there are very few people that got the money that was supposed to have been received. Of course,
in the context that we got so many requests which went beyond our capacity to deliver, and at about that time we decided to put on hold to review the methodology and the mechanism within which we would disperse these resources. So at the appropriate time, we shall come back to talk to the public and the private sector on the way forward. But this time around, we want to sit down with another team and really review and look at how effectively we should be able to get to its logical conclusion.
How much was it? Uganda's tourism is rebounding, with a 59% surge in international visitors to 814,508 in 2022, signaling recovery from the pandemic's impact. The resurgence contributed 2.7 trillion shillings, that's approximately $736 billion, 12.2% of the total exports and 41.4% of service exports, as revealed in the discussions with the tour entities and accommodation.
Right now in Uganda really lends itself to unbelievable opportunities. You've got the vast amount of national parks. The parks in Uganda are far superior in that you've got rivers, you've got boats, you've got the most amazing game traversing that people can really do. And of course, not to forget our hero, the absolute king of the whole lot is the silverback. And silverback gorillas are fantastic. Our investments are large. As Marasa Africa, we're investing back in all of our lodges, starting with Silverback Lodge, as I would say that funny enough. And Silverback Lodge is now going to be able to bring you luxury like never seen in this country before. There's a lot of work that we're doing. We're spending a tremendous amount of work. And the investment platform is good, like you say. We believe in Uganda. We're reinvesting in Uganda, and Marasa is reinvesting in.
Slowly, but slowly. Of course, COVID really affected us quite a lot. But as we progressing, for now, we look at the business trying to get in. We have more tourists who are coming in. We have a number of tour companies and tour agents bringing in a lot of business to the lodges. However, it's not as much as we really expected it to be, but at least for now.
Just like other business owners, travel agents and tour operators must comply with the general commercial requirements. Thus, a warning has been set to the shoddy who exploit tourists and use them for profits, like abandoning them at the airport.
One, there is the law that will catch up with people who are unscrupulous. Two, within the industry, we have mechanism of registering. People have to be registered, and that's why we are imploring as many companies as possible to train their staff to be honest, to have integrity. But thirdly, we have something called a peer review. So if you are a member of an association and you misbehave, sometimes it's important that the association...
A disciplinary committee that brings them to book. Of course, we do not encourage people running away with clients' monies and people abandoning clients along the itinerary. But we know that as an association, at least we have measures to curb this. So We are only worried for those who are operating outside the association because those ones we cannot follow up with them. Only Uganda Tourism Board can.
Yes, that's the tourism sector here in the country. And of course, like I said, tourism is already contributing a lot even since COVID-19. We remember in post-COVID-19. So tourism as a sector itself is doing very well. Like I said, we are recording a growth in the numbers of the tourism coming both from international, of course, even the domestic tourism. It's also doing very well here. Now let's rush to the Parliament of Uganda's COSASE. Of course, COSASE is the Committee on Commission, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, where it handed over Patrick Kichonjo Katabazi, the ED Center for Budget and Tax Policy, as well as advocate to Parliamentary CID, to explain over 30 billion shillings that was misappropriated. Let's have a look at this story.
The committee to discover that Mr. Patrick Chichoncho, a lawyer from Pathways Advocates, defrauded tea growers from Chigezi sub-region of their money which NADS had compensated them with. According to the documents presented before the committee, 39 billion shillings was given to Pathways Advocate to refund the aggrieved farmers.
Mr. Katabazi is just being mean with the truth. He knows the truth, but he is just mean. He's denying the records he submitted to NADS. He has failed to talk to us regarding the money transferred to the law firm from the beneficiaries, and the beneficiaries are here. He has failed. Madam Chair, wouldn't it be procedure right that we don't allow Mr. Katabazi to waste our time? We hand over Mr. Katabazi to our CID to make statements, and then he's compelled to produce the documents he has refused to produce here, and then we proceed with our report. Because even if we stayed here for another 1 week with Mr. Katabazi, the way I see him, he's very mean with the truth and is on oath.
As are raising a little bit pertinent. If you look at our special powers under Rule 208, when we invite you here, we have powers of the High Court. You cannot deny this committee access to any information on a document because the rules are clear.
When asked to present all the documents detailing all the beneficiaries and the amount of money each received, the lawyer made it clear to the committee that the law does not allow him to do so under client advocate privilege, except this angered the legislators.
That I have come prepared to provide to this honorable committee is a representative order. The rest of other documents, as I shall explain in my statement, fall under advocate-client privilege, and I have not sought authorization from my clients to divulge this particular information to this committee.
The aggrieved tea growers, some of whom were seen crying before the committee, informed members of parliament that Mr. Chichoncho's law firm forced them to sign documents they do not understand, only for them to see their money being withdrawn in large amounts.
Honorable Madam Chair, people have died. We lost a colleague, Mr. Francis Ntaho Frank. He got a loan, all his retirement benefits. He put money in this project, all the money was taken. He died. His orphans are outside. They were locked outside the committee. So we need justice. We need our money. And this Mr. Roya Katabazi has the money. It is still there because this is a lot of money. They should close his accounts and we are paid our money. We want to thank the ED and the President Museveni for this project and for giving us opportunity to get money. But NAD is paid, but the lawyer and these other people, they have their clique of eating our money. That's why you hear he's saying I can't disclose before these electoral people. I'm very glad the ED has said we are 700 beneficiaries, Madam Chair, from the ED's mouth. And each beneficiary, they were doing the same to him or her. I'm able to come here because I can afford to come here. These gentlemen have come from Chisoro, but imagine it among the 700 beneficiaries. Nena kunyinji. Dada kafuna roni. Iza roni ya mbera yo. Dadi ya fabwa pressure. Ogumwa ako kwa kasatu. Abwa sente zikurema kwiza. So tutabana turiyondungwanisa kushashuri jironi. A million abiri na mushanji bakatwereza miliyoni ina izo batwire November kwezi mu November last year. So bandi tubashaba mutwereze sente za kuba ebi turi kurabamo n'ibindi turi gwanisa rone interest yo yonkane gumane yongera. So mutwereze sente bami mutuyambe.
Mbanje miliyoni 38 ne basasula 18 ne bagamba bakola ensobe okunsasula nadis idi nengendo wa idi nasanga nti bakola ensobe nampa ebaluwa nenjiteka wa katabazi nagamba sirina sente ze bampadde nendayo munadizi ne bagamba twakusindisa eri buli bwengendayo nenda mu munadizi ne bagamba twakuwe ebaluwa bagende bakuwe sente.
The committee concluded by handing over Mr. Patrick Chichoncho to CID officers of Parliament to force him to bring all the documents the committee needs, as well as the aggrieved tea growers to give their statement regarding the money they were meant to receive.
Matter, I am going to ask Mr. Katavazi, together with all the witnesses, the ones from Kisoro, Kanungu, Rukunjiri, the ones who came here, to go to the CID to make statements, because we are getting a lot of information that should interest us as a committee. And because we now don't have time, today is our last engagement with NADS. We are expecting a report from CID to form our recommendation and the way forward.
The committee expects CID findings, which will inform their report regarding investigations into National Agriculture Advisory Services. Samlanifa, Smart 24 TV.
Yeah, that's about tackling corruption, of course. So, and you know how Uganda, of course, how Uganda is being affected by high levels of corruption. So when Consensus is doing such a work, we have hopes that maybe the corruption levels will reduce. Where did this number come from? Of course, they're saying the number was given to him by the National Agriculture Advisory Services, that's NADS, in partial damage covered to the tea growers in Kigezi sub-region. And they're saying that about 70 tea growers have been frauded of damages and pleaded to the Committee for Justice. That's how COSAS is doing its work over there. Now let's get to another story, mapping nationwide investment. We've been having issues of district investment committees that are under the law. And remember, every district is supposed to have an investment, of course, a district investment committee. But when you go to different districts, these committees are not there. They have not been functioning. So this has also forced, of course, the Uganda Investment Authority to come up with another, of course, district investment, another scheme to harness this gap that has been missing. Now, looking at of course, at the details here, they're saying following the existence of non-functioning district investment committees, Uganda Investment Authority was pushed back to drawing board and finally drafted the new local district investment committees that are going to do this work. Let's have a look at this very story that was compiled over the weekend. Pelham, Uganda conducted a study in 2022 and realized that there is non-functional district and sub-county investment committees coupled with capacity gaps, as well as weak partnership between Uganda Investment Authority and the district local government. Moses Onen from Pelham, Uganda says that if these committees are not in operation, then local investors are not being held accountable.
So where these committees are not in place and where they're non-functional, it therefore means the investors operate at large. And this becomes worse, especially where we have incidences of investors that have state backing. They're connected to individuals that are powerful So to the extent that the technical team of the district cannot crack whip on them. And the beauties with these committees is that they hold investors to account.
The statement is true. The investment committees, both at the district and the sub-county level, are not functioning. And I take the reference to my district.
In an effort to map the investment opportunities and the requirement in the local governments, the Uganda Revenue Authority has also embarked on the formation of local district economic investment committees, LEDICs. Peter Mramera, the Deputy Director, Business Development at Uganda Investment Authority, notes that the local district economic investment committees, LEDICs, will identify suitable collaboration between local investors and the district leadership.
LEDIC will convene because they want to ensure that this investor doesn't go anywhere, because if he shuts down the Kasese operation, Mbarara will take him. Collaboration. We need to put our effort behind LEDIC. It is the answer to most of these issues that we are talking about, be it administrative, be it interpretation, be it execution.
Their functions, like for me, I fault so much also the UIA, because they are supposed to help this committee function. They need to build their capacity. No, they have talked, but they operate in Kampala. As a district, if we say where the minutes or the training report, why maybe UIA has ever built the capacity of these committees and make sure that they are functional, they are trained, they are given. Actually, they have their responsibility now, but it is not activated. That's what we mean.
The district investment committees were formed to identify investment opportunities in the districts, but also engage local government and the private sector in the district so that they are actively engaged in investment promotion, facilitation and aftercare services in their areas. But all of a sudden, according to Pelham Uganda's research, they have not been working. There is therefore hope that the formation of local economic district investment committees, LEDICs, will help more. Yeah, that's a great one about the district investment committees. And these investment committees are helping very well, of course, even to find out who is the eligible investor to invest in any district. So if these committees have not been functioning, that means there's a very big gap here. There's a missing link. This report was compiled by Pelham Uganda. Over than that being said, we'll be going in for another break. When I come back, the business edition is still moving on. Stay around.
Smart 24, driving business. In a world where trade drives economic growth and development, Africa is now embracing a new era of intracontinental trade through the African Continental Free Trade Area to unleash its immense potential. Witness the spirit of entrepreneurship as African businesses forge away into partnership and venture beyond their borders in a single African market. Discover the innovative solutions being initiated and created to address challenges and seize opportunities in sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, and technological advancements. We expand our lens to showcase the efforts and success of economic integration across the entire African continent, from West Africa to East Africa, North Africa to Southern Africa, Central Africa, and even the diaspora, as the tapestry of unity grows stronger with each story we tell. African Perspective, driving business and trade across Africa. Don't miss the African Perspective on Smart 24 every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at exactly 6 p.m. East African Standard Time as we drive business and trade across Africa. Download the Smart Digital app on Play Store and enjoy your favorite TV shows, documentaries, and radio in your palm on the go. Say goodbye to paperwork and travel costs. Now every MTN customer can register to invest in securities anytime and anywhere with Zabu in a few simple steps. Step 1. Dial *292#. Step 2. Select option 1. Register with Zabu. Step 3. Enter your full names. Step 4. Enter your national identification number. Step 5. Enter your national identification card number. In 24 hours, you will receive an SMS confirming your registration. Congratulations, you are now ready to invest.
Luxury redefined at Seasand Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasand Hotel. So visit today at Plot 15-19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasand Hotels, luxury redefined.
Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome back from that short break. Of course, the business edition, like I said, is still continuing. You're going to speak limited dairy consumption. The Minister of State for Agriculture, Bright Remember, has also urged Ugandans to embrace local milk consumption here. That Ugandans are not embracing this. Ugandans are not taking milk, and that's a very big problem. Of course, we need the domestic market also here. So I think that's why that's what triggered the Minister of State, Bright Remember, to start calling on Ugandans to embrace the local milk consumption. Of course, the dairy industry has maintained course to confront several obstacles inhibiting big revenues, market access, and gross demand for products. Remember, we've been taking the milk to Kenya. Much as we have some little problems, but we've also identified any other market is in the other African countries apart from Kenya, Tanzania. And we're looking at Maghreb region also. So that's where our milk will be going. Let's have a look at this very story that was compiled.
As of January to March 2023, total value of dairy exports was 692.3 billion shillings, with an increase of 72% in value of exports compared to the last quarter of 2022, with 121 billion shillings. Despite being a country with immense agriculture potential, factors such as climate change and lack of modern farming techniques have led to a decline in milk yields. An additional concern impacting the industry is the fact that just 40% of Ugandans partake in milk and its byproducts, resulting in a sluggish domestic market.
Ugandans are consuming less dairy products as compared to the World Health Organization required standards. The per capita consumption for World Health Organization for normal human beings is 200 liters. Uganda, we are at 64 now.
But of course the challenge there is knowledge to the farmers, dissemination of that knowledge, but also the resources to have mass scale. But we are doing it through animal national genetic resources, NAGRIC, and of course the Ministry of Agriculture to see that the farmers access those breeds. Now, another challenge related to that is the climate change, that we tend so much to look at our production based on seasonality. Yes, during the wet season, bumper harvest. Dry season, no milk production.
Milk powder was the most exported dairy product with a value of 498.4 billion shillings, accounting for approximately 72% of the total exports. UHT accounted for 159.33 billion shillings, butter with 17.88 billion shillings, casein with 14.33 billion shillings, yogurt with 1.62 billion shillings, and cheese with the least accounting for 0.04 billion shillings as of January to March this year. It's evident that urgent action is needed to help farmers and processors add value on the dairy products to keep up with evolving market demands.
We are only competing with giants, and they don't want us to get into the market. But in order to get in the market is that we have to improve our quality. When you say, is our quality not good? When we talk of smallholders, we are talking of quality from farm to fork. Currently, the quality of the milk in the market is very good.
Changing from extensive farming in terms of having more productivity rather than having the numbers. As you notice that the population is increasing, there is pressure on land, and therefore we no longer want to see dairy farmers who are raising unproductive cows. What we've been doing is to ensure that we have improved breeds, but also have nutrition for the improved breeds.
According to Minister of State for Animals Industry, Honorable Bright Ramirama, Kenya's rejection of our milk, despite its good quality, seems to be a trade strategy as we are aiming at markets beyond East Africa.
First of all, it is not true that our dairy products are substandard. No. They are using other reasons to frustrate trade. And you know we are in the common market. Our products have been tested to be highest quality by reputable inspectors of AU. So our quality is very high. The challenge is that we are very competitive, and they are trying to protect their domestic production.
With collective efforts such as investing in infrastructure, promoting sustainable farming practices, and ensuring stringent quality control measures, Uganda's dairy sector can thrive, securing a bright future for its people and the economy. Bronya Katsime, Smart 24 TV.
Yeah, that's about the milk consumption, not only in Uganda, but also looking for other bigger markets beyond East Africa and beyond Africa as a whole. Remember, the president of Uganda has been moving different countries to make sure, of course, to find market for Ugandan products. We hope that milk will also be on top of those products that will be marketed outside Africa. Now getting to another story here, rushing to Ntunkamo district, Open expressed fury over inhibiting progress as a result of the poor state of roads. This content comes after progress on road works in neighboring Rukunjiri district or renovation of Kibiri Kitamba Connect to, of course, to one course. We have issues of road construction in different areas, especially in the Kigezi region. Some of the roads are not completed. Some of the roads are taking long to be completed because of corruption things. Some of the roads are being delayed because some of these stakeholders have hidden agendas. These are the things we can't know. Let's have a look at this very story from Ntungamo district.
During renovation ceremony of the road connecting Kibirizi and Chitimba at Kebisoni in Rukungiri district, residents of Chafora village finally had an opportunity to voice their concerns. They expressed their frustration over adverse impact of these road conditions, which is hampering their ability to transport goods, subsequently affecting their income and hampering development of the area.
Due to poor roads, we as residents have encountered difficulties in transporting goods such as coffee, beans and matoke, among others. The main issue revolves around the state of our roads, which is very poor. It is widely known that roads are the sole pathway to development in these regions.
The deteriorating roads have cast a shadow over the aspirations of Chafora village's residents. These hardworking individuals are finding it increasingly difficult to move their goods due to the poor road conditions. With limited access to markets and neighboring districts, their potential to earn a sustainable income has been significantly curtailed.
We are ready to twashemererwaho na program ya government na munonga abebimbezi abebimbirwe MP witu kuna yompauro tukabasha.
In my entire life, this marks the first occasion where I have witnessed government constructing our road in this area. I am genuinely pleased as this road will link us to wider markets in places like Rukungiri. Once it's complete, we anticipate increased earnings. We should exert more pressure to UNRA just like we did for the upcoming renovations of the road connecting Kibirizi and Chitimba in Rukungiri district.
In light of these challenges, need for immediate action becomes evident. The local authorities and stakeholders should collaborate to address the road infrastructure problems in Chafora village. Investment in road rehabilitation and maintenance is crucial to not only improve the residents' lives, but also contribute to economic growth of the region.
Government yaba niyo kubagomesa ibi byo kubagabira byabusha abantu bagenda gukora nambwe.
The issue I'm not seeing is people's reluctancy to work just because of the situation of the roads. But still, I am requesting government to step in because these roads are crucial for businesses and economic progress in this place. While focusing on road repairs, Chafora village must also look beyond its borders, exploring trade opportunities with neighboring districts and other regions within Uganda can open doors to new markets. Kate Namgera, Bronya Katsime, Smart 24 TV.
Yeah, those have been the stories that we managed to compile for you. Of course, there are some of the stories that made the headlines in our weekly bulletin. I want to thank you for being a very good viewer of Smart 24 TV, especially this very program, the business edition. Get free to get us on our Twitter handles, Facebook, just go Smart 24 TV Live. If you go to our YouTube, you'll find us there, Smart 24 TV Live. Let's meet again next time.